So we already, as I said, we already have pretty much everything we need. We can close down our window. We don't need our text anymore. We don't need our ticks anymore. Now, we've added our frequency background. Now we need to add our frequency ticks. Now, again, we've already created the object that we need to do that, our ticks object. We just need to create a somewhat elaborate tick object. So we'll do that just under here. New ticks. This will be our 2000 hertz ticks. So we'll have ticks at every 2000 hertz. We won't have too many of them. So we need to know how many pixels high is each frequency. Right, so up here we've got our spec, which is 460 high, which we've got, so it's 460 pixels high. Now our frequency range is exactly 11,046. Now that number comes from, I'll explain that in a moment, but we need to get our number of pixels per frequency. So to calculate that, we'll create a value called pixels per freq, and it will just be self.spec.height divided by 11,046. So, and that's because this 11,046, let's run this. So our frequencies starts from 0 down here, and then it goes up all the way up to about here, the very, very top of this this texture, this frame, our spectrogram. It goes all the way up to 11,046. That's the full range that we have, and that number comes from where do we calculate that? So it has to do with the frequency resolution, and there's an equation for it. It's not really important, but basically the equation is it's the sample rate divided by the window size times the number of spectral lines. And the number of spectral lines is that 513. And it's kind of an annoying, like it's not really necessary to understand. I don't even know why I tried to explain it. It's overloading too much about how the fast Fourier transform like does its thing like internally, which, you know, as I said, I'm not even an expert. I've learned enough to know how to build this sort of thing. But this number, if you want to look into this further, you will be able to figure out exactly where this number comes from. And if you guys want me to create a series on how to implement the fast Fourier transform from scratch, like that's the only thing, that's a series where we build the entire thing from scratch, something I've never done before, would love to figure it out. Let me know if you want to see that, and we can learn together. We can go through it together. But so we just need to, the important thing is this number represents our total frequency range, and we need to figure out how many pixels per frequency. And so we're going to add a new ticks object, self.context. The x is going to be 70, and we're going to need some more room here. This is going to be a bit messy, this one. Our y is going to be our spec y. Okay. So what we've done here is this y, we want the top of our ticks to start from, because we want ticks that go from the very bottom of our spectrogram all the way up to the 10,000 mark, right? So we need our spectrograms. This is the top. This is the top of our spectrogram. We need to shift it down by exactly this amount. You can see, and this is, 1046. If you take 1046 away from this, you get exactly 10,000. That represents the top 10,000 mark. And then the height of that is this number of frequency pixels for a range of 10,000. and then the gap is for a range of 2000 of these frequency pixels, which basically means that we're going to have one tick every 2000 every 2000 let me start again. We're going to have one tick every gap of 2000 frequencies. So we're going to have 0, 2000, 4000, 6000, 8000, 10,000. They're the only ticks we're going to have. Sorry for the I'm not very good at explaining things. Anyway, that should work for us straight away. And yeah, so this is probably a lot more clearer, a lot clearer. So this is 0, this is 2000, this is 4000, 6000, 8000, and then 10,000. But the actual spectrogram comes up to about this height, roughly here, something like that. As you can probably kind of see. Actually, I'm going to put a line there so that it's a little bit clearer. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to come to I'm just going to grab one of these. And I'm just going to stick it here. And I'm going to go, I'm going to call this the wave spec separation line. Okay, something like that. And then this is going to be, the height is going to be the self.wav.height. The width is going to be the full width. The height is just going to be a few pixels, something like that. And then the background. Okay. Let's try again. There we go. Okay, so now we've got a line here that separates the two. So we can see here we've got this is 8,000, 10,000, and then the total height. You can kind of imagine that this frequency at the very, very tippy top is 11,000 as a frequency of 11,046. And so that's, that's why we've put ticks like this, because we want them at nice whole numbers. Well, 0, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000. Okay, now let's add the actual text for those. So we come back down to our text. Under here. Okay. And that should do it. There we go. Look at that. Absolutely incredible. Looks amazing. Okay.